she said that they want 89 years from me. I told them I will everybody. I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm not sugarcoating. Look it, Bill. This is what I have to wear because the law enforcement out here are scumbags.
Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Mike to Nick. What's up, Mike?
Not much, brother. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got a wild story leading up to right now, right?
Jump right into it about what's going on with me and a little bit about what's happening right now. Okay, so
how did it all transpire? Just give them a little backstory, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of it.
All right, so, I was a knucklehead growing up and everything, just like everybody else was in the town that I grew up in. I grew up in Lake Elsinore, California. It was rough, we got jumped into gangs at 13 years old, 12 years old, so we were already bad kids as it was. We'd fight everybody, and we were outnumbered by a lot of the Southsiders and everybody else. So we were the only white boys, so we all stuck together. We got it in with everybody. So growing up, I seen the older homeboys and stuff, and I'm like, well, I want to be a big homeboy, Well, I became that big homeboy, and I don't, it's not worth it, to be honest with you, because I got out of prison out of Arizona from doing 10.5 years flat. 5.5 of those years I spent in Supermax in a single man cell. My shower was in my cell. They read me my mail on a projector. I never left that place, unless it was an emergency or unless I popped the door to try to get somebody, and that's just how it was. I got out of prison about, I want to say, July 14th of 2017, I got out of prison. Don't get me wrong. I got out. I partied like a rock star a little bit for like a month or two. And then
get it out of your system, right?
Yeah, I had to get it out of my system. I met a girl at the time. Her name was Taylor, and she's the mother of my kids. And, me and her are having problems right now because of this situation. Hey, she hasn't turned her back on me yet. She's the only one that's been 100 and rode the shit out with me, no matter what, So I got out of prison and we started dating and everything. And we had a baby, got married, all that good stuff. We started a company together. And
yeah, but so did you decide to move, or are you still in Arizona? You got to explain.
So we were in Arizona at the time because she's from Arizona. She's an Arizona native, and I'm from, Lake Elsinore, California. So I went out to Arizona not knowing nobody. I just needed a change of pace because I got in trouble out there too, and did a little bit of time out there as well. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm going there. I'm going to go out to Arizona. Everybody's, giving it a bunch of hype. And I stayed out there for 16 years, and 10.5 of those years I was in prison. So it was pretty crazy. I did a lot of wild stuff. I worked with a lot of different clubs, I guess you would say, and everything and whatnot. I did 10.5 years on a hung jury. All right. Yeah. The judge still gave me 10.5, and I had a hung jury at trial. So that should tell you something. I was facing a lot of time, like 65 years on top of each other 5 times. I paid my debts to society. So I got out of prison. I met Taylor, we had a baby, got married. We were still in Arizona. And then, we decided to move closer to my dad. My dad is from Cleveland, Ohio. So I closed out my company in Arizona, and I was making bank. If I showed you my bank statements and my tax return, I touched millions legally, actually. And, I've done it illegally, but I've touched them legally as well. And so we left all of that and we came out to Cleveland, Ohio. I bought a building. I started doing it because I do home remodeling. I fabricate, I weld, whatever you name it, I do it. I'm self-taught a lot of stuff. I taught myself how to do electrical. I could pull a line from the pole to the house and rewire the whole house by myself by reading one book. We came out here. My stepsister started coming around my shop and everything, crying about her husband getting drunk and beating on her. and her stepson's, whooping her in the driveway and stuff. And I'm like, are you serious right now? And then I got my dad and my stepmom, telling me that these like her stepsons, which granted they're all 21 and older, like they're not kids. All right, they're throwing fireworks M80s at my parents, my dad and my stepmom, and rocks at them. They had a trailer in their backyard, and they were running the sewer line into my dad's backyard, and and everything. And
are these like neighbors, or
yeah,
it's the boyfriend? It's the boyfriend of.
So it's
right?
my stepsister's husband, and so a year before I moved out here, I got diagnosed with lupus. Okay. And then a year after I moved here, I got diagnosed with leukemia as well. So I'm like stuck in a rock in a hard place, so the life that I have left is for my daughters. I got beautiful little girls, and everything. And they're the only reason why I changed and I have any type of heart or whatever you want to call it, soul back or left or whatever. Because if it wasn't for them, these turning of events out here would have been, you guys would have been seeing it all over the news. I could tell you this much, because so I'll get to the
Fingers
story.
covering the camera.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
All right. So anyways, my stepsister's coming over to my shop crying about them beating her up and whatever, blah blah blah. And then my dad's telling me that what they're doing too, and they live right next door to my dad. All right. And and then my dad tells me that they're running their mouth about me. Honestly, I don't really care about them running their mouth about me. My favorite motto is you can't whoop me. So that everybody can talk all they want. Like I tell everybody, I'm just a lame with a paint job nowadays. All this ink all over me, that's all earned from bloodshed. My whole body's covered. And I put that guy to rest a long time ago. These people out here in Cleveland, they're trying to they're pushing a place where they're forcing me to go, and I don't want to. I live every day of my life nowadays for my daughters. I get over to my dad's house one day to eat dinner before I went to my shop to go fabricate. My stepsister's stepsons are out in the front yard getting drunk and smoking pot. They got two of their buddies with them. They run up to my truck and started getting like crazy at first. I parked on my dad's front lawn, like tree lawn, basically. I got out of my truck and I was like, what's up, man? And they just walked back all quietly and just stayed quiet. Me being me, because I don't have a filter and I just can't let stuff like this slide. I told him, I said, hey, keep putting your hands on my stepsister and keep fucking with my parents and keep my name out of your mouth or I'm going to shut your guys' mouths. They stayed quiet until their dumbass drunk dad came outside and said, there's 5 of you and there's only 1 of him. You guys gonna let him talk to you like that? And what they do, they get all hyped up. So this is a classic check-in move, like in prison. Okay, people fight in front of the COs because they're trying to PC up low key. Okay, yep. This is what these dudes did. All right, they started getting loud, so all the neighbors came out. Okay, so what did I do? I took off my hat, my glasses, because I wear glasses. So my glasses are all jacked up right now, because the Cleveland's finest. All right. In the US Marshals. Me being me, I took off my shirt, my hat, my glasses, and these 5 dudes, 5 against me. Okay. They started fighting with me. I knocked every single one of them out, slept them in one hit. For at least 30 seconds, they were sleeping on that goddamn ground. I don't mean to swear.
What was the father doing? What was the father doing?
He went back inside like a little, you know what? I'm not even. I don't even need to say it. You guys already know he went back inside. So the neighbors and everybody Oh, so by the way, this is the kicker. Okay, so I work on the east side of Cleveland. A lot of white boys. Everybody told me when I first got here, hey, white boys are, white people don't get along over there. Blah blah. It's the hood. Blah blah. I'm like, listen, I grew up in the hood. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter. So I got an air pistol. All right, this right here. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
It looks real as hell. It's metal. Okay. Let me let me see if I can stand you up on the steering wheel. So look, it slides back. You know what I'm saying? Like it has a damn clip. Look at that.
Yeah.
All right. Look at that.
Yeah.
Fucking. All right. It sounds real. It fires everything. All right. It's my toy gun. All right. And yeah, people say, what if they have a real gun? I will get close enough to them where I will take, because 9 times out of 10, half these dudes around here nowadays, they're all about calling the cops and being sissies instead of pulling that trigger. All right. So that's why I don't really worry about it. Granted, hey, I might be the lucky one that gets the guy that actually has some balls enough to do it. Never know. I gave that to my dad before the fight, and he put it in his Dodge Charger that was parked on the front yard and locked it. Okay. So when the neighbors told me, hey, Mike, just go out, get out of here. It's not worth it. You're doing good. You have stuff going for you. I own a business in 2 states. I own all of my properties. I own all my vehicles. I don't owe the banks crap. My credit score's over a 700. Like, I'm doing pretty good for doing 10 and a half years in damn prison. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing better than most people that have been out on the streets for their whole life. So when I got in my truck, I pulled into the neighbor's driveway, and these dudes started throwing M80s at my truck and throwing bricks through my Dodge Ram, my 1500, the windows. I took off, and I got out of the truck, to flex at him, and he got all scared. This dude freaking, I don't know. I blasted his shit, all these dudes' paperwork all over the fucking internet, so it doesn't matter. This dude Dakota, he's a little weenie. I flexed at him, so he back up. I got back in my truck and I drove off. I drove past the cops coming in. Okay. Not only did they start the fight, they got whooped and they called the cops on me. And they all had warrants out for their arrest, and one was on probation or house arrest for armed robbery with a gun. And he told on his co-defendant that got 4 years, and he got probation or house arrest, and they were all drunk. 2 weeks later, I have 37 US. I'm not even over exaggerating. I can send you my Ring camera footage.
Yeah,
37 US Marshals pulled me out of my shower naked.
What time of the day was it? And walk me through what happened.
So I was in the shower and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna lie to you. I beat up 3 of them, but they didn't announce themselves yet, so they couldn't charge me with nothing. I didn't know who was kicking in my bathroom door. I yanked down the shower curtain. I whooped the dog out of them, because that's one thing I'm good at. I'm very good at fighting. Like, hands down. At first, it's being a dad. I'm a good dad. I could fight, and I know how to make money. That's just the way it is. Anybody back home will tell you they call me an earner, because I'll make money out of nothing. Everything that I have, I earned it, or I took it. Not like took it like I didn't steal it. I don't steal. I don't know how to.
You're not with the criminal activity anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I earned everything that I got. I worked my
How come
ass
you
off
didn't?
for it.
How come you didn't stay when the cops were coming? How come you didn't just stay?
They told me to get out of there because they didn't want me to get in more trouble, and nobody knew that they called the cops.
So you're in the shower. What happens? They bust in.
So my stepsister's nephew opens the door for them, and they asked for me. All he had to say, because it was just an arrest warrant. If they don't have a search warrant, they can eat a dick. Sorry, I don't mean to talk
Sorry,
like that.
I'll block it out.
But I'm for real. They have to have a search warrant to enter my property. It doesn't matter if they have an arrest warrant. They can have an arrest warrant all they want. They can sit in my driveway and pray to whoever they pray to and try to come in. Maybe they got a genie or something. They can get in my house. But this idiot let them in because they scared them. Little did they know I had cameras in my hallway going up to my stairs, so I heard the freaking chime on my damn phone. So I already knew that the kid knew not to go upstairs in my house because that's where my family stuff is. Being who I used to be, a lot of people are I earned every bit of respect that I get. And I always tell everybody I'd rather have somebody fear me than respect me, because with fear comes respect. And that's what a lot of people do. Because my boy Bo, Bo, Randall Bo, he'll tell you, I am that dude. I am with. That's a whole nother story. When he came out to Arizona to visit me, man, he thought I was gonna leave him out in the desert. That's funny. No, that's my boy right there. I got a lot of love for him. But anyways, I heard the chime. So I was like, when they kicked in the door, they sent 3 dudes in, and the 3 dudes behind them had shields. Why wouldn't the dudes that came in first have shields? Especially because of my background. It made no sense to me. But they came in, I yanked the shower curtain over their damn heads, and I beat the shit out of them. And then once they said US Marshals, I dropped to my knees, put my hands on my head, and I let them cuff me. All right. So 37 of them were there. They had snipers on my neighbor's back porch and their front porch and all around my damn house.
Little overkill, right?
It was wild. Like, they acted like I killed somebody. Like, I was actually doing crazy stuff out in Arizona and back home in California. Like, I was doing some wild stuff, like movie shit. And I didn't even have this much heat on me as I do now. I go to jail. They put me in a single man cell, because I don't know if you're familiar with the politics back in California and Arizona and stuff. We're super political out there. And being who I am, there's certain standards that I have to stay by when I'm in that mindset and in that environment. I have to abide by that, because if I go home, I can't hit a main yard. If you know what I'm saying, and stuff. So I have to stand by those. So I told the officers, I said, hey, listen, if you put me in a cell with anybody else or another race, I'm going to take flight on them, and I will take flight on you as well. The dude was trying to be cocky about it. And I was like, bro, I'm telling you, you will not win. I will throw you off the tier. I'm like, I'm not that dude. I'm like, you see all this ink on my body, that somebody, I just didn't pay somebody in. They said, oh, let me get this. No, that doesn't work like that. The chick was cool as hell. She's like, I get it. And she put me in a single man cell. So I spent 2 weeks in there, okay, in jail. It took me threatening my parents to get me the fuck out of there because they didn't want to sign for it. All right. We had the money. I got out on $1 million bond. I'm out on $1 million. Well, I paid off the bond already. I'm not under contract with the bond anymore. That's neither here nor there.
What charges did you get? Tell the people what charges you were charged
So
with.
they gave me felonious assault, 4 counts, plus another count because the state picked it up. All right. They gave me 5 counts of gun specs, which I never heard of, but that carries like 10 years. But that you don't start serving your time until after you serve the gun spec time. And then they gave me 5 counts of drive-by shooting because these morons said that I shot 1 round out my truck window. Yes, you guys, let me shoot around with my fucking air gun.
And you didn't have, I bet you any money it's from the fireworks that they were throwing. People thought it was a weapon.
That's exactly what it was. And so the whole time I was in there, Bill, no detective tried to interview me or nothing. Don't get me wrong. I would have told him to go do his job like they should be doing right now in the first place. The point is, he didn't even try. They just closed booked me. They indicted me and everything. All right. I'm sitting there. I get out of jail on $1 million bond. They freeze all my assets, my passport, everything. They took everything. Okay. The only reason why they can't seize my shop is because I own a corporation. And how I have it set up, these out here will never be able to I'll give them each $1,000 if they can find a loophole in that. All right.
So how long were you in jail for before you got the bond out?
2 weeks.
So 2 weeks, and then you bond out. How much was your bond?
$1 million.